And hello, everyone. Welcome to our power scanning session. It is November 1st. Wow, one day after Halloween. I can't believe it. Time really flies. Fall really has settled in here in Montreal. It's a crisp fall morning. It's 12 p.m. Eastern time in Montreal. And I'm greeting you guys from our beautiful office here in downtown. And before we get into it today, let me ask you, where are you guys calling in from? Who do we have in the room today? So I'm myself calling in from Canada. I was supposed to be in Germany today already, as I will be attending the World of Trading exhibition next week in Frankfurt. I was supposed to go travel yesterday. I decided to postpone the trip by a couple of days. I'm only going to fly out next Tuesday or Wednesday now. All right, so who do we have? Please share your location with me. Aubrey from sunny Cyprus. Hey, Aubrey, how are you? Nice to have you back. Derek from Ontario. Hey, Derek. How's it going? Bob from Alexandria, Virginia, I believe. Nice to see you too. Art from Fredericton, Maryland. I hope it's great flying weather, Art. I heard there was some kind of JetBlue incident. Was it yesterday or the day before where what happened? Where the airplane lost altitude or something due to flight control issues? I'm not sure. I hope that was not your plane, Art. Niels from Basel. Hey, Niels, how's it going? All right, perfect, guys. Well, thank you so much. I think we missed a couple of German users today. There's also a reason for this. We were supposed to have our German session a bit earlier this morning, which was postponed for tomorrow because of my travels. Then my travels got canceled. It's been a huge mess. Anyways, um, it will all work itself out. Lenny from New York. Hey, Lenny, how's it going? And Juan from Asunción, Paraguay. Hi there. How's it going? Perfect. All right. So let's get into it. Of course, today, once again, we will be looking for the most interesting swing trading setups for the week and the week ahead. And as a reminder, a swing trade typically lasts anywhere between 1 week and 20 weeks, give or take. It's not written in stone, of course. These are just some guidelines, but that's approximate a duration of a swing trade. So it's not a day trade which you would open and close within the same day, and also not a super long-term investment. It's right in the middle of these two extremes. And what we're going to do today, and we're going to share with you today, is what we typically call our 13-minute strategy. The reason for this is it's something that you can do very fast when the market closes or in the morning before the market opens. It will not take a very long time. So this session is scheduled for 1 hour. That's because I talk a lot and I give lots of explanations. But if you were just focusing on finding interesting setups, this is something which can be very fast. So this is not going to take much time out of your day. And this is exactly the purpose of our beautiful Liquidity View dashboard, which will allow you to find these interesting trade ideas within just a couple of minutes. And of course, a quick reminder, a quick introduction, I should say, of who we are. We are tradingindicators.com. My name is Daniel here on the left-hand side, and Homa and Niklas are also part of our team. I'm not sure where they are today, but typically they are also in the room helping with the chat. Nonetheless, guys, we are trading indicators, and we specialize on creating innovative trading indicators. Uh, and we've built those for clients all over the world, more than 1,000 of them for all kinds of platforms, for TradingView, of course, for NinjaTrader, Wave, and other platforms. But besides this, we also built what we call trading scanners. And one such trading scanner we will be using today to find these promising swing trading setups. And you will see this is actually a very simple process because, not because, but mainly designed to simplify trading for you. We believe that trading should be simple, and trading is simple. And the easier we can make it for you, the better it will be. And just one last thing before we get started. If you have any questions, please make this webinar your own. If you have simple requests or any questions whatsoever, please put your questions into the Q&A box, and we'll get to those as we proceed through this presentation. All right. Now, a quick reminder that trading does contain risk and therefore is not suited for every investor. If you trade, make sure to only use risk capital, which is money that you actually can afford to lose. When it comes to backtest performance or hypothetical performance or really anything based on historical data, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance, and any trade ideas and strategies and setups discussed in this webinar should not be construed as trade advice. These are for educational purposes only. All right. So with this out of the way, let's get started. And I'm going to start with a couple of housekeeping items. First off, A reminder that we did have our tech talk last week. If you've missed it, you can re-watch it at tradingindicators.com/gap. This is the link right here. Let me just quickly put this link into the chat box. There we go. Because in that, just give me 1 second. There we go. So it's www.tradingindicators.com. There we go. /gap. Why Gap? Because in this tech talk, we have released our brand new Gap IQ indicator, an indicator designed to identify gaps on your price chart and estimate what are the chances of these gaps being filled over time. And in addition to this, we'll also show you how long it takes on average to fill these gaps. And this whole thing comes with a scanner as well. And we're going to we root this out for TradingView, and soon, probably this weekend, we're going to add NinjaTrader and Motive Wave also to our mix. So if you have missed it, check it out at tradingindicators.com/gap. All right. Now, also, if you have not yet watched our bootcamp about the Liquidity View dashboard yet, check it out at tradingindicators.com/bootcamp. Let me just also put this link into the chat. All right. There we go. Trading indicators. Hope I don't make any spelling mistakes /bootcamp. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is in this webinar today, we're only going to use a small subset indeed, of the features which come with this dashboard. And if you want to know what all the other features are and how you can use them to find different setups, for example, longer term setups or investment setups, or for example, income generating setups of dividends, check out this boot camp. Also, we do have a Discord channel where we post day trading setups and swing trading setups. If you have not joined yet, go to tradingindicators.com/Discord to check out our Discord channel. And we also do have an ebook. You can see it here at tradingindicators.com/power of three, where we are detailing the three main setups that we typically use in this power scanning session: the bounce setup, the zone break retrace setup, and also the zone break setup. And Aubrey said he just signed up 5 minutes ago for Get Back You. Great. Awesome. Thanks, Aubrey. I will enable you access right after this webinar. All right. And yeah, we're going to get to these Gap IQ questions a bit later today, so please bear with me. Because, of course, we want to focus first on identifying the most promising swing trading setups. And one last thing before we do this, if you have any feedback, please don't be shy. Your feedback is what drives the future development of our dashboard. So thank you so much for everyone who has been sending us this feedback by email or by commentary. I know Derek has been very active. He had some good ideas about candlesticks, which we may look into, additional symbols and so forth. So please don't be shy. This is what will drive the further development of our dashboard. All right. So with this, let's get started with the market review. All right. So what has happened in the market since last week? So I'm going to open up now our dashboard. There we go. And we're going to start with the SPY. So this is our dashboard. I'm going to go to our end of day scanner. Let's see what happened in the S&P 500. We're going to use the SPY for this, which is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Okay, so pretty much an eventless week. From a technical point of view, we can see here market made an all-time high, I believe, on Wednesday. You can see it here. Then we retraced a little bit, and then we closed approximately, we're just a bit higher where we opened up, where we closed them the week before. So pretty eventless. But if you look at this chart, you can see it is really business as usual, huh? Look at all this green area here on trend radar, and just a few red patches every once in a while. We had a minor level 1 pullback on Thursday, which was bought up on Friday. Of course, there was a down candle afterwards where we gapped higher, then came down a little bit. But nonetheless, prices are still extended, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for these bigger pullbacks. Yeah, we had a nice pullback a couple of weeks ago, this level 3 pullback. This is what I'm waiting for before I will be adding to my existing SPY position. And truth be told, my SPY position is a long-term position. This is something I want to, I'm building over time as a long-term investment. I have no intention of reducing this anytime soon. All right. So this was the SPY. What about, and one thing to mention is, of course, now prices are expensive. Yeah, this is also my warning to you. So if you want to get in right now at these price levels, just be aware that pullbacks and retracements, they are definitely in the books. And maybe just be aware of this, that it can happen, and don't be scared if you lose a couple of percentages if such a pullback may happen. Very similar picture in the QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF. Let me just go here. We can see it. Prices are extended. We did have also here a level one pullback on a Thursday, which was bought up on Friday. And then, of course, a down day on Friday. But nonetheless, prices are expensive. And you can see here since May 1st, it's just really the same pattern. Look at this trend radar down here. It hasn't changed. Market conditions have not changed since May 1st. Yeah. Very, very bullish, very extended, with just a couple of pullbacks every once in a while. I'm waiting for these pullbacks before I will add to my QQQ position. It's also an open position, which I have as a longer term investment. All right. What about the Russell 2000, the IWM ETF? Let's check it out here. Yeah, the Russell's interesting. It's fighting still with this level that we've been discussing for a long time. Look at this. And look at this green line that you see here around 244, 245. This green line is a former resistance level. It was broken, of course, a couple of weeks and months ago, but this level is very significant. Why? Because it was first established. Look at this, how long this green line goes back. I have to scroll quite a bit. It was first established in November 2021. This is how significant this level is. And this is also why, from a technical point of view, why the Russell is struggling with this price level. So we broke above it, we came back down to it, broke above again, down again, broke above, and now down again. And I mean, if you want to take a shot, you may say now, okay, this is our zone break retrace setup. Now we broke this resistance level, which since then is acting as support. As we know, resistance will change rules. It will become resistance, it becomes support when broken. So this may be happening now. And interestingly, yeah, we can see on Friday where Nasdaq and SPY, they both had down days. The Russell actually had a bullish day. You can see it here, and we bounced off nicely from this level. Maybe, at least from a technical point of view, it's definitely a valid assumption. Maybe this could be the start of another leg further up. And of these three symbols, of the SPY, of the QQQ, and the Russell, I think this one is the one which has the biggest potential, because this one is not so extended. I mean, we are above our averages, but not by that much as we do in the SPY and the QQQ. So this might be, as the option professor called it, the dark horse, the most promising of the three indexes. All right, so let's look at gold. All right, so gold is still interesting, yeah. And we mentioned this in our newsletter. This is the GLD, the Spider Gold ETF. A bit surprisingly, that the pullback that we saw 2 weeks ago was not immediately bought up. So here we still have ways to go. We're closer to our averages. You can see it here. And this could have been an interesting opportunity to re-add or potentially to establish a gold position as we come down to our averages here, which are drawn onto the chart by our MA Rush indicator. You can see it here. This happened in the past many times where prices came down to this first line. You can see it here, near this line, and it went up, down here, down here, down here, and here, and here. And now, for the first time since August, since summer this year, we are coming near this line. And because the expectation is in this bullish trend is that this line will hold and gold will make another attempt at higher price levels. I personally do have a swing position open in GLD. I sold some puts when prices came down here. I saw this opportunity because option prices were high, because the implied volatility of GLD was way above its average. So option prices were expensive. And selling option in those circumstances and these market conditions are oftentimes an interesting idea. So I still have these short positions in my puts, and which are pretty much at break even right now. Why? Because the volatility has come down. So they lost on value because of this. Some time has expired too, or has elapsed since then. And even though prices have came down a little bit further, they're still at break even. Of course, the expectation is that prices will come back up, and then these puts will become nearly worthless, and I'm going to buy them back at that point. At least that's my assumption. Very similar in silver, by the way. If you are looking to establish a silver position, it's also now has pulled back a couple of weeks ago. We can see it here, right, almost to the dot. Look at this, to this first MA Rush line. Now you can see it here, almost to the sand, to this Emmy Rush line. We have yeah bounced off this line very nicely afterwards. So also silver does look promising, especially if you would have considered it here at this level 3 pullback as per trend radar, which of course, yeah, could have been an interesting entry point. And also here, the assumption is that silver will attempt, at least that's how I read the market, will attempt to at least close this gap here, which happened a couple of weeks ago. All right. So that was silver, and we do have one more. Actually, two more. Let's quickly look at oil. I'm not going to talk much about it because it's kind of boring to me. Oil is really caught in the middle between the extremes. I mention it every single week, so I'm going to really keep it short. It's smack down the middle between 83 up here, the extreme to the upside, in this very long-term sideways channel. You can see it here. Or it's been alternating between these extremes. So 83 is the upper boundary and 60 the lower one. I only will consider looking into oil and trading it if we get to either of these extremes, either 83 up here or 60 down here. So not much to say about oil, but it's more interesting for Bitcoin. Oh boy. Never fails to surprise us, Bitcoin. We saw a nice bounce off this key level. You see these two lines, these two zones here, the red one and the green one. It's kind of an abnormality that support and resistance are so close together, meaning this level really has a lot of significance. And we can see why that is. Prices have a hard time getting loose from this level, yeah, bouncing away from it, at least in a significant manner. We saw a bit of a bounce here. A couple of weeks ago, we made it all the way up to 116,000. And then now the retracement back to this key level. And on Friday, another small bounce. This is Friday's data to 109,000. And if you look at today's data here on the live chart, we can see now we're at 110,000. So this level has significance. And many people say, well, it better hold, because if not, there is a distinct chance, that's at least the possibility, that prices will come down all the way to the 74,000 level. So, and then all transparency, I do hold an investment position in Bitcoin, which I established a long time ago. So I'm not actively trading Bitcoin. But if this happens, if prices come down to 74,000, I may look into adding to this investment position at that time. All right, so this was our market review. Let's have a look if there are any questions. All right, so I'm gonna skip all the Gap IQ questions for now. We can perhaps look at these a bit later. Lenny's asking, for the SPY, how did you handle the tariff dip with your position in the SPY? Were you convinced that it was short term? Yeah. Oh, that's so the SPY, it's an index, and over time, it's an index that will go up. I think the chances of this are very distinct, and I believe from an investment point of view, it is definitely a good idea to hold a long position in the SPY, because if you're able to hold on to it, and just go back to it, over years, it may take a while sometimes, then it will recover. Oops, sorry. Here we go. It will recover, and it will go up over time. So all these dips, even this big one here, caused by the tariffs, yeah, these are great opportunities to enter or to add to your position. So, yeah, I mean, the SPY, let me just go back a bit further. I'm not sure how much historical data we do have in the SPY here. This is a weekly time frame. Let's just see, from 2020 or even a bit longer. But you can see it is bullish, yeah. And these dips are opportunities. It's just a matter of holding on to your position. So even if we get into a bearish phase, they happen every once in a while. You can see it here. If you're able to hold on to it, if you're not over leveraged, if you don't, it's just an outright position in the SPY, I think holding on to it is something that makes sense. And these dips are great opportunities to add to it. You can see it here, just historically speaking. This goes back all the way to 2006. These bearish phases, you can see Emmy Rush giving us bearish phases every once in a while. These are short-lived. Look how much smaller the duration of the bearish phase is compared to the bullish phase. Bearish, long bullish phase. Bearish, very tiny one, long bullish phase. Bearish for a little bit, long bullish, and so forth and so forth. Okay, so I hope this clarifies that. All right, so let me see if there are some other questions. Okay. Where did it go? There we go. Okay, when price breaks the resistance zone, what should be our opinion of the meaning of that? I see that a lot and it's confusing. Does price normally want to go back below the zone? Um, well, it depends, Lanny. And of course it's a case by case decision. But if you break above resistance, in fact, one of our setups, if I just go quickly our to our slides here, we can see we do have a setup called the zone break retrace setup. You can see it here. Price initially goes above resistance. Initially, it will go up. This is oftentimes the case, but this initial move higher, um, sometimes, of course, there's no guarantees. There are no guarantees in trading. Sometimes this initial move higher is short-lived, and price will come down to retest this broken level. And this is exactly what happened in the IWM. Now, if you go back to the IWM, there we go, and look at the price chart, we can see that, okay, we broke. Oh, this is the weekly chart, but maybe I'll keep on actually, let's go back to the daily just to make this a bit clearer here. Now we broke above resistance here. And then we retested this level. It came down a bit further. Of course, it's not an exact science, but I believe, and this is why I called this out, this could be an interesting long opportunity because we're coming right off this broken resistance level, which may now be acting as support. All right. Okay, so uh, okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go now on to my well, I guess the meat of this presentation. We're gonna try to identify interesting, and there will be quite a few of them, interesting setups for the next week. And one setup that I really like, and it's probably the easiest one to identify, and also I think which makes the most intuitive sense, is our healthy pullback setup within a long-lasting uptrend. So here's what we're looking for. We're looking for stocks which are in a long-lasting uptrend. You can see here, it's going up for a long time, and we're looking for a trend entry. But of course, not every trend entry is a good entry. For example, you don't want to enter at these high points here, these swing highs, yeah, because there's a distinct chance that price may pull back. And it's also exactly the reason why, remember, why said in the SPY, maybe now it's not the best time to enter or to add to your long position because we are at this high level. It's not really a pullback. Everything is green here in trend radar. You see this here? So be careful of this. I wait for these drops within the long-lasting uptrend. We can see this one on our trend radar indicator by these pullback indications. 1, 2, 3, 4 levels down. 4 levels red. The last level is green. This is what I'm looking for to find an interesting long entry. You can see it here. So we can see this on our trend radar indicator. And once again, one more time, back to the SPY. These are the patches I'm looking for. These level 3 pullbacks. See this one here and here to potentially look for a long position. Not when it's all green, when it's all extended. That's too expensive for me. I patiently wait for a bit of a pullback. All right, so we can find these ones as per our trend radar indicator. And ideally, that would be the trifecta, is if this pullback coincides, it doesn't have to, but this is what makes it a really interesting setup, if it coincides with a key support level as per our liquidity IQ indicator. You can see it here, price came down, it pulled back to this red level. This is a support level, increasing our chances one more time that this level is holding and preventing price, in fact, from going further down, and price is more likely to bounce from this level towards higher price levels. Okay, so how can we find these setups? So I'm going to go quickly to our scanner here. There we go. And I will now search for these setups. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my scanner a little bit. And you can see all these different columns that we have here. Not all of these are relevant for this type of scanning we're going to do right now. And remember when I mentioned the bootcamp very early on in my presentation, in this presentation, if you want to know what all these other columns do for you and what they mean, check out the bootcamp. The link is in the chat. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of some of the columns I'm not going to be using today. So I'm not going to look at the industry group for today, not the 52-week and 52-week high percent and 52-week low percent. Liquidity capture we're going to keep. Pullback we're going to keep. Oscar we're going to get rid of. And volatility as well, and trend aligned too. So now it's nice and clean. Look at this. Beautiful. Everything fits onto one scanner. Nice. Okay, so let's find some symbols which are in a long-lasting uptrend. How can we do this? Well, we're going to use our MA rush indicator for this. And if you don't know what this indicator does, let me just go back a little bit here on this daily chart on the SPY. It's this indicator, which prints these bearish and bullish labels onto your chart. And what I like to do is I like to find stocks where the last label on your chart is a bullish one, meaning the trend right now, the current trend is bullish. It's not bearish, it's bullish. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a bullish trend entry. So we want the stock to be long-term bullish. So I'm going to go to this MA Rush column here, and I will select bullish. Once I do this, we can see it here. Of our 5,747 symbols that we are currently tracking right now, 3,113 symbols are bullish. And we can also see for how long these symbols are bullish. For example, this one here, the very first one, CLMB, Climb Global Solutions, has been bullish for 1,550 trading days. Oh my goodness, that's a long time. I can see it here. If you look at this stock, it is bullish. There's no question about it. We came all the way up from, let me see when we went bullish here, from August 2019. You can see it here. MA Rush went bullish, and what a ride it has been. What a ride upwards for this particular stock. Okay, so that's that. But of course, I want to also see stocks which are currently pulling back. Level 3 pullback as per our trend radar indicator. This one barely didn't qualify, even though I like this one. Actually, I do like this one a lot. I just stumbled over this one by accident just by looking at the longest bullish stocks. And this one barely disqualified itself, even though I do like it. Why? Because look at what trend radar does here. It has a level 5 pullback. All 5 levels are red. I still like it though. If price come a bit lower here, maybe towards this level, maybe next week we're gonna have this one on our radar. Let me just quickly annotate this real quick. If you come down a little bit closer to this support level, maybe, despite trend radar being all red here, this could be an interesting long entry opportunity. So climb. But what we're looking for is we're looking for stocks where trend radar only has 4 levels down. How do we do this? Well, we're going to go to our pullback column here and use the filter bullish pullback level 4. All right. So now we can see every single stock in here has this number 4 written in here. Level 4 pullback. Perfect. And then we can do one more thing. Actually, let me just go to this one real quick here. XRF.AX. You can see trend radar has 4 levels down. Okay, so that's criteria number 2. And criteria number 3, remember, what was it? We want price, unlike this stock here, we want price to be near a key support level. Is this the case right now of this symbol? No, it's not. We are right in the middle, in between support and resistance, because of the magnet zone trade. Ideally, we want this pullback to be near this red level here, which is a support level. Once again, increasing our chances that we may bounce off this level and price will not continue to move further down. So how can we find these ones? Well, we're going to go to our Liquidity IQ setup column here and select long bounce. Long bounce means we are near support and maybe bouncing to the long direction, to the long side. So we select this. Now we're down to only 44 stocks. And let's check out some of these stocks that we found. So the first one is the StoneX Group, SNX. Take a symbol. Let's check it out. All right. Yes. Beautiful. Look at the setup. Level 4 pullback, long-term uptrend. We have earnings coming up, and is it in November 19? Just be aware of this. But now we're really near this support level. I like it. And this is going to be our first symbol, which will be on the radar for next week. So let's add it on to our watch list. So I'm going to go to our end of day scanner. There we go. And create a new watch list, which you want to call Weekly Swing Trades November 1st, because that's today's date. All right, so Weekly Swing Trades, colon, 2025, 11/01. I can't believe it's already in November. Crazy. All right, and then I'm going to do 2 more things. I'm going to share this watch list with you. I have this button here as an admin. I can share this watch list with you, and I'm going to unshare the watch list from September 27, which is Yeah, the one that went out of scope, it's 6 weeks ago. And, as per our policy or what we agreed on, actually, we asked you guys for your opinion. We are sharing the last 5 watch list with you. There we go. Okay, so of course, this watch list is empty now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to add StoneX Group as our first symbol to this watch list. Done. And, you should now be able to see this symbol in this watch list as well. Okay, moving on. Okay, Technology One Limited, TNE.AX, an Australian stock. Also earnings coming up here on November 19. That's an interesting one too. Look at this. Long-term bullish. Yeah, long-term bullish. You can see it here on trend. Oh, sorry, what happened here? I'm gonna take 1 second, guys. So whenever you see or mess something up, there's some various ways to fix it. Again, you can either click this reset button here, but if it's just really one indicator which got messed up, you can simply delete the indicator, which was trend radar, and reapply it. So I'm gonna do this real quick. Right now, radar, there we go. And now my chart looks normal again. Yeah, this one looks good too. For all the Australians among you, I know we do have some Australian viewers, which probably gonna watch the recording of this. Yeah, that's an interesting one. We came down here and also here, if you look at it, on our last candle, what do we see here? Do you see this label here? Liquidity capture, meaning this very last bar is a bar which came close to the support level. It didn't break it completely. It wicked into it. And this bar had an above average volume. And sometimes, this can be interpreted, or one way to interpret this is that, hey, something is happening right now. Now, for some reason, volume has spiked up on this bar, and one may think of this as, something is happening. Perhaps buyers are stepping in at this price point, preventing price from coming further down, and so price may bounce off this level towards the middle, in between support and resistance. All right. Yeah, it's an interesting one. The only warning sign here is that we do have this gap here, and we're going to talk about gaps a bit later on. You can see this bigger up gap here, which is not filled yet. And see this gap, this one here. It's a bit hard to see. Let me just maybe take off Emmy Rush for 1 second. See this gap here between price? That's an up gap. It's not been filled yet. And perhaps we're going to come down all the way to this level, which would coincide with this former resistance level. So there's a possibility there. So just be aware that, there's no guarantees, but, sometimes these gaps get tested. Actually, oftentimes they do. Our gap IQ indicator shows this very nicely, how oftentimes this happens. And we may come down all the way to this level. Nonetheless, I'm going to add it to our watch list. Okay, Hilton. Hilton was one of our key trades that we had a couple of weeks ago. I believe it even was our trade of the week in our newsletter, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what happened in Hilton. Wow. I mean, it's uncanny. Look at this, how this stock is respecting these key levels. Went up to resistance, bounced off, down to support, bounced off, up to resistance again, down to support, up to resistance. A bit of a gap here. This gap got filled, and now down to support. Once again, I do see this as an interesting opportunity to re-enter. We called this out, I think, when it was maybe here. Sorry. A bit of a cold. It's cold here in Montreal. Yeah, this could be an interesting opportunity to re-enter into a long position, potentially. Yeah, anticipating another leg further up towards this resistance level. I'm going to add this one to our list as well. The Hilton
Daniel.
Group. Hey, Nicholas.
Hey, we have a question about TNE.AX.
Yeah.
On the last two candles, did you say the volume was not strong?
No, it was strong. We had a liquidity capture. It had to be
strong. Okay, so Lenny, the way that Daniel knew that is a liquidity capture represents relatively high volume. So actually, we said that it was high volume because a liquidity capture represents that. And Paulo wants to know, what's the best way to lock the indicators they've added to the chart?
To lock them, they should
is there
actually
a way to also, they want to know, Paulo wants to know, is there a way to add different profiles with different indicators per profile?
That's currently not possible, even though there is. Let me just quickly see here. Yeah, the short answer is it's not possible, but that's something we are investigating. I believe if you go to your settings here, there is the option, if this comes up, to have these templates apply the default. But right now, this only applies to the actual chart settings, like the background color, what you want to see on your chart, and so forth. For locking indicators, that's currently not the case. To have different, I guess, profiles. Right now, the indicator will just remember what were the last indicators applied to your chart? Okay, that's how it works right now.
Thanks.
But yeah, it's an interesting idea, Paula. Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on. Let's look at Euro Australian dollar. I have to admit, this is something I haven't looked at in a long time. Let's have a look at the symbol. Yeah, and even currencies, even though I would never, I don't swing trade currencies, we can see it here. It's at a key support level and it's long-term bullish. Yeah, if you scroll back far enough, and if I enable my MA rush indicator, there we, oh, by the way, um, I think I mentioned this before in a previous session. Right now, you don't see ME rush on this chart. If I would, let me just hide these two indicators here and only have ME rush any, but there's nothing on the chart. You can see it here. It's completely blank. There's a reason for this. Because our default way, or ME rush's default way of calculating its readings is based on what's called a volume weighted moving average. You can see it here. The MA calculation method is volume weighted. Now, unfortunately, let me just quickly go to our scanner. Oops, 1 second. It's good to do a bit of explanation sometimes. Let me enable the volume column here. This one. What do we see here? There's no volume for FX, yeah, because it's not a centralized traded instrument. There's no central notion of volume for FX pairs. Therefore, the MA rush indicator cannot calculate a volume weighted moving average because the volume is always zero. And maybe we're going to tweak this at some point. Therefore, what you need to do is to switch the default, the calculation method to exponential instead. So the exponential moving average, which does not take into account volume. And once you do this, you can see, okay, now MA rush is working again on this particular symbol. So it's just a little fun fact if you want to use MA rush on FX pairs as well. We can see it here. This is my point. MA rush is bullish for quite some time. Since when is it here? Since December 19, 2022, we are bullish, and now we pulled back to the support level as per our liquidity IQ indicator. All right, so I'm not going to add this currency pair to our list, but it's definitely interesting that these techniques that we're going through here week after week, they also apply to FX pairs. Absolutely. All right. Allianz, a German stock. Oh, it's interesting too. Look what we drew on here a couple of weeks ago. You can see my little squares here of a little gap that got filled subsequently. Then another down gap, which didn't get filled yet, and now price is coming down to this key support level. And I think if you come down a little bit further, maybe towards the 344 level, 340 level, maybe. Oh, 344 actually. This could be an interesting long entry. So for all the German traders among you, something to look out for. I'm going to add this one to our watch list. All right. And you can see how easy it is to find these setups. And it's because I'm talking a lot, it takes a while to go through them. But if you don't talk and just focus on them, it's actually quite straightforward. Now, next I'm going to show you a bit of a trick. So right now, you can see it here. We are using 3 different criteria to show or to find these setups, these stocks, which with interesting setups. We want to have a long-term bullish stock. We want a level 4 pullback, and we want to have a long bounce setup. Now, sometimes, and you saw this on this very first symbol that we looked at, the level 4 pullback criteria sometimes is a bit too stringent. And I want to take it away to look at more opportunities. So what you can do is you can remove it, like no filter here, and we only use ME Rush and Liquidity IQ, the long bounce setup, to find our setups. The first one that comes in here is S next. We had this one. Then we have Dollarama, a Canadian stock, a dollar store in Canada, a setup which I used to like it back here when we had this pullback towards the support level. Then it break. Now we're back at this level. It broke before some. I'm going to stay away from this one, even though it's definitely a long-term bullish stock, absolutely. And see what happened here. Just a little fun fact: we did call out Dollarama. We have a trade note here on September 27. Let's just have a quick look. What did we call out here? Well, price came down, as mentioned, to this key support level, to this red level here at 181. It came down to it. But, and I remember this, and you can watch the recording from September 27. I said, watch for this gap here. This is an up gap which has not been tested and filled yet. And I said this for good reason. Why? Because look what happened. Yeah, we did have the gap fill subsequently. So this gap got tested and then prices came back up. Yeah, so these gaps have validity. And if you have our brand new gap IQ indicator, you could actually see directly on your price chart what are the fill percentages? How many of these up gaps or down gaps of a certain size have been filled over time? How this is possible with our nice gap IQ indicator. And just a quick reminder that the link is in the chat. Of course, today it's about scanning, but as a quick reminder, we do have this special offer for our gap IQ indicator, which looks as follows. It finds these beautiful gaps, has all these statistics. You can scan for these gaps. We offer it at a 50% discount for a limited time at tradingindicators.com/gap. All right, but back to the dashboard now. Okay, so we had StoneX, we have Dollarama, then we have Reliance. Here also, once this loads, I'm not the biggest fan of it. We broke this support level and came back up to it. To me, this weakens the level a little bit. I'm going to skip Reliance. Also, there's a resistance level right above price. So there's not much room in this trade. But the one I really wanted to point out is this one here. Motorola Solutions. It's a beauty. Look at this one. All right. What do we see here? Everything came together. Long-term uptrending stock. Long-term uptrending stock. Now a bit in a range pattern. We came down to this low end of the range of 389, came back up, and then we had earnings on, I believe, Friday or maybe Thursday. We had earnings, and probably Thursday after market close earnings, and then prices came down on Friday, and with they stop right at this key support level, and we did have a liquidity capture, and there's a gap that is screaming to get filled. So to me, this stock has all the ingredients, and I'll see what happens on Monday. We'll see where we open, but this could as well be our trade of the week in our newsletter on Monday when the market opens. I'm gonna check it out how the market opens. If you see some bullish signs, this could be the trade of the week to get into a long trade now at this lower price level. The only thing which is a bit of a small warning here is that we do have another support level right below this one. So they're very near to each other. Oftentimes, when this happens, when we have these two levels very next to each other, it's oftentimes the second one, which is the more powerful one, this one down here. And there's a chance the prices will come down and test this level. Just be aware of this. But nonetheless, I'm going to add this symbol to our watch list.
Daniel.
Yes.
We have some questions. So from Donna, she wants to know, can you choose more than one filter, like 3 and 4 pull back at the same time?
Oh, that's a good idea, Donna. Not right now, but that's a good idea. I think we're going to add this. You have multiple selections here. So you want to, I like it. Great.
Okay.
Nicholas, please take a note of that. That's a really good idea, Donna. I think we're going to have this done on Tuesday for Lunch and Learn as an announcement. It's a really good idea. Now that you mentioned it.
And another one. Yes, Donna, will you ever make it where we can add other indicators we purchased from trading indicators to liquidity dashboard? We are trying to add everything as time goes along, like volume IQ, and then eventually gap IQ. Is that right, Daniel?
Yeah, that's on our to-do list. Sometimes, it's not so easy to do. It may sound easy because you may say, hey, we already have these indicators for Trading View, like on the actual Trading View platform. Why don't you just add it to the dashboard? Well, first off, even though the charting looks the same, and in theory it's the same kind of charting, the way how to program for it is completely different. There are many restrictions when it comes to programming, like for a dashboard charting engine as for the actual Trading View. And then also, of course, this has to go into the scanner too. That's a whole different ballpark. But yeah, it's something which is on our to-do list, Donna. Absolutely.
Can you pay with PayPal, Daniel, if you're buying
Oh, yes. Yeah, there's an option. If you go to the checkout form, you can choose PayPal.
Perfect.
And if you don't see it, send me a quick note. I'll walk you through. But yeah, it's possible.
Perfect. And then what is the implication of the optionable column?
Yeah, the bootcamp will explain it completely, but that basically means that two things, in fact. First off, if you see this check mark here in this optional column, it means this stock has an options chain. It's optionable. But this is not all. We also require that this options chain is reasonably liquid. Because sometimes you have an options chain, but the spread between the bid and the ask is so huge, you can't realistically trade options on that one. So this check mark is set if both things come together. There's an options chain and it's reasonably liquid. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. And then finally, would you
Yeah.
enter, do you prefer to enter morning or end of day? What's your thoughts on timing your entry with these setups that you're looking at?
I always, so I would not place like a stop buy order or something before the market opens, like when the market is still closed. You can already place these orders. I typically wait to see where it opens if there's a big gap. Sometimes you see it right away with the pre-market data, but sometimes you are surprised. I like to wait. They enter typically around maybe 11 o'clock, like in the morning. So yeah, in the morning, but not in the very first minute of the morning.
And
Just
last
want to
question,
first
Daniel, before
see
you
where the market
continue.
goes
If you
first.
make a
Yeah.
drawing on your chart here, is it going to stay there if you go to do
Yeah.
something else?
Yeah. This drawing here this is from back then, from July, basically. At least they stay on the chart. Hmm. Also, this one, here's why I pointed out. What was that? Oh, it was Dollarama. This one here. This drawing, see this one, there's a little gap here. This one I drew on back in when we caught out the setup. When was it? On December 27, I drew this little gap here and it stayed there. These things stay forever. Absolutely. Hmm.
Um, Daniel,
Yeah.
I'm just checking here. We had a question from Keem saying that the link at tradingindicators.com/gap. Let me just double check if this was the right link.
It should say 997. Oh,
Ooh, still
I
shows
forgot.
1997. Is there a discount code or something I might have
Yeah, yeah.
missed?
I'm sorry, Keen. My bad. It's yeah, I forgot to mention this. In order to get this price, it should say
Oh, that
997
was my
first
bad.
of
I
all.
didn't put the code, so I'll put that in the chat, guys.
Yeah, coupon code GAP to get the discounted price because the regular price is indeed 997, but as a launch special, uh, you can get this discount. And one thing I forgot to mention: if you're trading on a platform different from TradingView, you can also take advantage of this special right now. And the Ninja Trader version is about to be done. Nicholas worked very hard on it yesterday. It looks really good. I gave me a preview. And this one will be done by Tuesday for our lunch and learn, and then Modifwave will come afterwards during the week. So you can get this locked in and then get those versions yeah, shortly afterwards.
Thanks,
Alrighty,
Daniel.
so good. Moving on. So we had talked about Dollarama Motorola, which I really like. I'm not sure if I added this already to our watch list. Let me just do this. Yes, it was already there. Okay. And then we have AIT, Applied Industrial Technologies. Yeah. I don't like it. I'm going to skip this one for the simple reason that we're coming from below. We can see it here to the support level. We are at support at this red level, but we broke it previously. So I'm going to skip this one. I like the stock which comes from the top to this level. And this level has held previously. So I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to go to IBM, the ECC Bank. I believe this one had earnings too. Some kind of gap on, not earnings, gap on Friday. And yeah, it's I believe it's an Indian bank, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, long-term uptrend. And now we gap down to this key support level with, once again, a liquidity capture here at the very last bar. And a bit of a gap, a small gap, as we can see it here. And also there's a gap here. These gaps have not been filled. In my view, they're screaming to get filled. And I'm gonna yeah, add this one to our watch list too, because this could be an interesting long setup for this symbol. So let's add this one. Oops. There we go. And perhaps one more, the iShares US Insurance ETF, IAK. Oh yeah, look at this. Big gap here. You can see it here. We came all the way, oops. Ah, sorry. We came all the way down to the support level. Just give it a bit more context. Yeah. The only thing here, once again, we do have this other level below. It's further away. It's at 119, 7 points below, but this is a stock which is not very volatile. So these bars may look big here. They're actually tiny. Look at how, if I measure this percent move, just for the fun of it, from up here to down here, it's not very big. So let me just go here from here to here. It's 13% only. So it may look like a huge move from the channel. It's not very much. So it's yeah, it's a very slow moving stock, and this is why I said maybe this level down here may come into play. It's not really far away, only 6 points. That's less than 4%. Potentially, we're going to get down here, so just be aware of this. But nonetheless, I'm going to add this one to our list. And then one more. I'm going to skip ECC. That's just the Indian, the bank, the simple trade on the Indian stock exchange on the Nifty. Let's go to GLP here, Global Partners LP. One last one. Earnings are coming up. Are they? Yeah, earnings are coming up on November 10, and also this one. Even though this one, let me just quickly have a look. Yeah, I'm gonna skip it. It's too volatile for me, and it kind of looks like a bearish pattern here, very making lower highs and along the way. So this looks to me like a descending triangle. So I'm gonna skip it. Okay, so this was our yeah, our long bounce setup. But of course, we do have another setup. And before we go there, Nicholas, do we have questions at this point?
Yeah, we got one, and it's actually an interesting question, perhaps from Niels.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay, Daniel?
Yes.
Okay, so can you check, please, XLRE, the real estate select sector?
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a long bounce one, so it's just a long bounce, but the scanner shows zero pullback. However, it seems to have a level 5 pullback. This is a
Yeah.
question from Niels.
So we don't have actually a level 5 pullback. This is something we because that's just all red. Basically, it's not really a short-term pullback in that sense. So it's all levels down. That's why you don't see it here. That's why there's like a dash here, because we don't have this notion of a level 5 pullback. Because to us, a pullback is something where the last row at the minimum needs to be green. If it's all red, then like here, then this is not, at least the way we define it, a
Just a
pullback.
full trend. Okay.
Yeah, but for example, just what I sometimes then do, of course, it's all a matter of perspective. So if you go to a higher time frame, say the weekly time frame, you can see it here. Oh, there would be a level 4 pullback. And actually, one thing I want to do also for probably this is a couple of weeks out, I may add another time frame option here where we can look for pullbacks on the weekly time frame, because sometimes in our newsletter, for example, we are looking for these level 4 pullbacks on the weekly instead of the daily, just to give this a bit more, to find more stocks which are interesting, which pulled back a bit deeper.
Thanks, Daniel.
Cool. Great. All right. All right. Let me go to my slides, and I want to talk about our next setup. I'm going to talk about the zone break retrace setup. I mentioned it before, which is a setup where a price breaks above resistance. You can see this this greenish line here. Price broke above it. It initially goes up, but then it retraces down back to this broken resistance level, which from this point on will be acting as support. And we like this setup because oftentimes when this happens, this can be a nice launch pad for the real move further up in the direction of the original breakout. So up, down, a bit of a faker of the market, and then it really takes off. So how can we find these ones? It's actually really easy to find. I'm going to go back to my dashboard, and all we do here is we go to our Liquidity IQ setup column, and we select long break retrace. Done. 28 stocks have been found, and I still like to, sort by trend direction. But what we can see here, for example, is that the very first one is this Australian stock, B4P, before A group, B4P, very strange name. I can see it here. It's a bullish stock. Yeah, well, it's a penny stock. Maybe Johnny Silver would be interested in this one. He likes to trade these small price stocks, which could mean they have a lot of potential. Broke above resistance here, we go up, and then we go up down. So let me just actually measure this out, just to put this into perspective. So we came up all the way to this price point here, and then retrace down to here. And that's 19%. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. These penny stocks sometimes, yeah, they're the ones which have all this big potential because they make these bigger moves if this pans out. But of course, this can go in both ways. Be aware of this. You can make a big move to the upside, but also you can lose, of course, a lot if it goes to the opposite direction. Nonetheless, an interesting one. I'm going to keep this on our radar for next week for our weekly swing trades. Then we have a couple of currency pairs here. I'm going to skip those ones because, once again, I don't like to trade currencies from a swing trading point of view. I'm going to go all the way or straight to this stock here, the IVE, the iShares S&P 500 Value ETF. I wonder what this one does differently from the SPY. The index measures the performance of the large. Okay, so it's not completely the S&P 500. There's also some other stuff in there, I would think. Okay, yeah, interesting. I mean, it looks very similar to the actual SPY, if you ask me. So prices came down a little bit. But here, if you come down a little bit further, maybe to the 207 or 206 level, this could be an interesting long opportunity. But here, I would wait personally for a pullback, maybe a bit deeper to this price level. And perhaps one more. The IRMD, the ERA Iradi Met Corporation. Yeah. Also here we broke above resistance, came initially up, and now we're retracing down to this level. Yeah. Also, this one could be an interesting one. I don't like I don't like the fact that this happened before here, and then we came down, we broke it, and only then went up. So it's not the cleanest setup. So I may skip this one as well. And one thing I wanted to mention is I'm going to skip the Nasdaq 100 is just the one traded on the London Stock Exchange. Let's go to the FTDR. Yeah, this one is more interesting to me because here you can clearly see that this level, this green level here, this one has held. Yeah, it came up and down, up, and now we're coming down again towards this level. So this one, if we see a bit of a deeper pullback maybe to this level here, this green line, this would be an interesting long opportunity. So I'm going to add this one to our list. And this one last one before we review our symbols is Jacobs Solutions. This one here, J. And here, yeah, we had this on our radar a bit earlier. Now it's getting to the zone where it gets interesting. This entry zone here, right on the upper end. So if you come down a little bit further, this to me could be an interesting long entry opportunity if you get down to this to the 152, 153 level. So I'm going to re-add this one to our watch list. Perfect. All right. So now let me go through our watch list and see which symbols did we find for the next week. So you have 10 symbols. That's a good, healthy number. And let's just go through these quickly one by one, starting with the ECC Bank Limited. It's an ADR, so it's an Indian company which you can buy it on the U.S. stock exchanges as an ADR, American Depository Receipt or something like this. So it's tradable there. Pretty much the mirror image. So we gap down here. Yeah. The only thing here, it looks kind of to me that we are on this downward channel, making some lower highs here. Nonetheless, I do like it. I'm gonna add this one to our list. Why not? To our hot list, let's say for next week. So I'm gonna add this one. Perfect. IAK, iShares Insurance ETF. And we're at this level here. It just seems a bit boring, this stock. It moves so little. It's not super interesting. Even if we are right and we make the move in the right direction, it's just a small upside potential. I'm gonna skip it. It's just not exciting enough for me. The TNE.AX. Yeah. I like it too. It's just that this zone, this gap here hasn't been filled yet. We may see a deeper pullback. So I'm gonna skip this one as well. StoneX. All right. I like it. Now we're coming right to this key support level from the top, which is my preferred setup. I like it. I'm going to add it to our watch list. So last one we had StoneX was actually here in May. You can see it here, May 24. We had it here when we came. What was it? May 24. I guess we were somewhere around this levels. It went up, of course, afterwards. So this could have been a nice trade. I'm going to re-add it to our watch list. So I'm going to add a new trade note with this symbol. Okay. Motorola Solutions. I like it too. Nice gap down. Let's see how the market opens. There is a chance we're going to go down to the second support level right below. It is possible. And then this could be an even more interesting opportunity. So I'm going to wait a little bit, but definitely it's something to keep an eye on, especially if there's down gap here as well. So we're going to add it to our list. With the timestamp. Look, we had this one on January this year. Oh my God, there's so many scanning sessions. I'm going to re-add it to our list. All right, Hilton. Hilton is interesting. I like it. It's a very clean technical pattern. You can see how nice the price has been bouncing between these two technical levels, the support level here, and now this resistance level up here. Now we're down back to support within a strong uptrend. Earnings are behind us, so I think this could be an interesting long opportunity. I'm going to add Hilton to our list. Okay. There we go. It's basically a rinse and repeat of what we had on October 11th. Same thing. We came down to support. It worked out nicely. Now, once again, we're going to add it to our hot list. Oops. Come on. There we go. Okay. So what is this being added? Let's move on. Allianz, a German stock. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Even though the German economy is faltering right now, I still think this could be an interesting long opportunity for this particular symbol when I re-add it to our list. All right. There we go. Okay. And This is done. Perfect. And 2 or 3 more. B4P, before pay. Yeah, this penny stock. Yeah. I know Australian stocks are oftentimes priced very low. I kind of like it. Yeah, for our zone big retrace, let's add it also to our list. Let's see if we may get lucky here to see a big move further upwards, which could yield some nice percentages for us before pay. And then we have Front Door Inc. All right. Some gaps here. It's not the cleanest zone break retrace. I'm going to skip it. Even I drew this one here. Looks a bit messy, and you know how, look at these deep retracements. It's not the smoothest stock, and we have these big candles in the middle. I'll skip it. And then we have Jacob Solutions. This one, I think, is the more interesting one. It's a bigger company, nice zone break retrace. I just want to wait for a bit of a deeper retrace to like 154, 153. And then this could be an interesting candidate. So I'm going to add it as well to our list for this week. Perfect. Alrighty. That was, I think we have a really nice selection for the next week. Let's see how these ones pan out when the market opens. All right. So, Nicholas, do we have some questions?
Yeah, we had a similar request for Qubits, QBTS.
Yes. Qubits. I'm going to go to our end of day scanner. QBTS. There we go. D-Wave Quantum. Yeah. We actually called out qubits for all of those who join our options trading webinars. We had a quantum special back, I don't know when it was, back in March or April when qubit was down here for potential long-term strategy to invest into it. Oh boy, what a move that would have been. Look at this. We came all the way from 6 all the way up to like 46 now. Bit of a retracement. Look at this. Correction down, level 3 correction of trend radar, Rush, things that push Ben. I definitely would wait for another pullback towards this first Rush line before looking into a long position. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Daniel. The next one's Palantir.
Yes, PLTR. Okay. Let's have a look. It went up yesterday, I believe. Yeah. All-time highs. Yeah, we're extended. It's not something I on the zone break here. Wow. Look at this. Zone break a couple of, when was it? Days ago on Wednesday. Went above it and a bit of a pullback on Thursday, then high up. Yeah, this looks interesting. It's expensive. We're a bit far away from our averages here, but I mean, this could be the starting point of another lag, significant lag further higher. I like it. Yeah, that's a nice one, Lenny. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just checking other requests. The next one would be SAP.DE.
Yeah, SAP.
What do you think of that now from Ilona?
I haven't looked at it. I skipped the German webinar this morning. Yeah, it looks. I mean, it's definitely bullish. We're just in the side correctional phase after all-time highs. I mean, I think it might just come down one more time to this 210, 211 level, and then I would look into long positions. Right now, it seems a bit bearish to me that we might see another leg further down to this level. If it does, this could be the entry point to load the wagon of SAP.
Perfect. Okay.
Vicky's asking, do you send the list out to email? No, Vicky, I don't. But when you subscribe to the dashboard, you actually can see them directly in your drop down here. It's one of the watch lists. Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Daniel. And the next symbol would be AZN.
AZN. AstraZeneca. I wonder what they do. I haven't looked at this one in a while. Because people talked about AstraZeneca during COVID. I remember that. Let's give it some context. Yeah, it's wavy, yeah. Up, down, up, down. Now, nice leg up since Rush went bullish. It just doesn't seem to respect my level, the all levels, very nicely. So, yeah, hard to say. Definitely, I'd say more of a bullish stock with a couple of gaps here which didn't get filled. So this is perhaps a concern. See this big gap here. Yeah, it's not the cleanest technical stock to trade. So I personally would stay away. All right.
Okay, and then the next symbol would come from Vicky, and that is Micron, MU.
Yeah, Micron Technology. There we go. Zone break 25 trading days ago. You can see there. It's extended. I mean, I think here we missed our chance to load up the wagon. And now at these price levels, too extended for me. I would wait for a pullback of some sort, like a level 3, level 4 pullback as per trend reader. It's just too far away from our averages, this stock.
Thanks, Daniel. And finally, the last two symbols, if you can, VTYX from Paula.
VTYX, yes. Oops. VTYX, what's that one? I'm going to put sorry. VTYX, this stock makes me cough. Vintex Biosciences. Okay. Oh, what a move, huh? Did we discuss this, Paul, last time? This kind of rings a bell. Wow, what a move up. Crazy. I mean, this one, maybe there's something fundamentally going on with this stock. But from a technical point of view, I mean, it is a big move up. We're away from our averages after being like completely flat here. Emmy Rush went bullish on Friday. It's not my stock I would not trade, but definitely, I mean, if this is the starting point of a recovery, and there's a lot of upside potential to, I don't know, all the way up to here to a 46. Yeah, maybe for a stock from a speculative point of view, perhaps not the worst idea. If you think could go all the way or for much higher.
Thanks, Daniel. And the last one is called 59, apparently. FIVE
Yes.
9. Is that a company name?
Yeah, we do. It's not Five Below. Five. Oh, that's a company name. Do everything. Oh, here, this one. FIVN. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Long bounds. Oof. Yeah. Bearish for a long time. I mean, yeah, it looks very bearish. We are right at the support level here. Would I go long? No. If you could perhaps go up to this resistance level here at 28, maybe a 29, maybe a short position in this super bearish stock. Look where we came from. Yeah, but yeah, it's just it screams bearishness to me. Oh, it's Johnny Savil's stock. Which one? The VTYX. Okay, got it. Okay, yeah, Johnny likes to trade these things, and maybe it had a nice fallen angel signal here, potentially. Yeah.
And last one, Daniel. I think I joined after Moshe asked for it, was eBay, and that will be the last symbol request.
Alrighty, eBay. And Moshe was saying they had good earnings and we traced back down, right? Is that what the question was? I saw it from the glimpse of my eye. Oh, look at this. When did we have earnings? Okay, so earnings came out, yeah, on October 29 and a huge drop below. And Moshe was saying, well, they had good earnings, yet the stock price dropped. That's always the thing of interpreting these fundamentals because they may seem good to you, but you never know how much of an expectation was already priced into the earnings. Maybe the expectations were so high, and even though earnings came out good, they didn't come out good enough, and prices dropped down a bit here. Now, this is an earnings gap, very clear. And what I'm thinking here for eBay is I think we might fill this gap here now since we're on the way. Be very curious to see this big up gap. If we do, maybe then it could be an interesting idea to enter into a long position. eBay, I do think it's definitely a bullish stock. I do think this gap will be filled. We're not far away, and this gap fill is in motion. And once again, testimony. This is why we have developed our gap IQ indicator, which is a nice segment. We'll talk about this one more time in a second. That over time, and this can take quite some time, like these gaps tend to get filled. So don't discount them yet. So this up gap, even though this happened months ago and in July, yeah, now might get filled. Getting very close to it, at least. All right. By the way, talking about our gap indicator, one more time, quick reminder that we do have this special going on. You can see it here at tradingindicators.com/gap to get our brand new gap indicator, which will show you all the gaps on the price chart, along with the statistics of how many of those got filled over time and how long it takes on average to fill these gaps. Now check it out at tradingindicators.com/gap. Discount code GAPGAP to get it for a 50% discount. All right. Perfect. Will Gap IQ be integrated into the dashboard? Maybe. We're not there yet. This is something perhaps for the next year, but at this point, it's not in there. What's more important, supports on all liquidity capture? Lenny, I wouldn't say there's a list of what's more important because these liquidity captures, they can only happen at these key levels. So One can only happen when price is already there. And the more things line up, at least to me, the better it is. Yeah, the more of a confluence or confluent setup you have, the better it will be. Perfect. All right, guys, with this, I'm going to quickly go to my slide one more time because we also have a trial offer for you. You may have seen it at our very first slide. If you're interested in trying out our great Liquidity View dashboard, the one I've just used to find these interesting trade setups, you can use it for a full week for free by simply going to tradingindicators.com/view. And there's no contract, no obligation. You won't even be charged. Just have to put your information there. Use it for a full week. And then if you want to stay on board, we have interesting weekly and monthly options. All right. So with this, yeah, with this, I have two more symbols real quick, FI and GEX. All right. So Kenneth is asking, do you track options of GEX? Not sure what you mean by GX. So the answer is no. I don't even know exactly what that is, Kenneth. And Gotham wants to look at FI. All right. Let's have a quick look here. The thing with these short symbol names, sometimes there are many that fit the pattern. Buy serve. Short break. Oh, we broke below support. Oh, boy, earnings. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, we went bearish here. Now we gapped down after earnings here. Yeah, looks very bearish to me, unfortunately, along with the trend being bearish. Now here we peaked at 240 something, now down at 66. Oh boy. Yeah. I yeah, it looks bearish to me. That's my only comment I have. This is something I would not get into it. Is the gap special for lifetime? Yes, Art, it is forever. Yeah. Pay once, you keep it for life. Absolutely. Mhm. Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, TYM. And Art, was it you? I asked you this that they had the JetBlue trouble. Not sure if you heard about this. I hope it was not you. Anyways, Art is a pilot for JetBlue. Perfect. All right, guys. With this, I thank you all for joining us today. And of course, we're going to continue. Our next session is already planned for this Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will show you with a 95% chance at least that our Gap IQ indicator for NinjaTrader, which works nicely there too. We're also going to answer a lot of questions related to Gap IQ. Of course, we're going to look at these symbols that became interesting after the market open and so forth and so forth. So see you all next Tuesday. And with this, have a great, great weekend. Take some time off, recover, and be fresh for the next week. And there's a question about Gap IQ. Can you scan for there are many things that you can scan for of Gap IQ, including whether a gap fill is already in progress, whether price has entered into a potential gap right now, and whether there's an upside or downside bias towards it. So there are many things you can scan for, and that's possible. Yeah. All right. Great, guys. So with this, I wish you all a great weekend and talk to you soon. Bye-bye, guys. And Paula said, yeah, send me an email, please. That's no problem.